Sunday, October 20, is International Day of the Air Traffic Controller, and the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority has invested tremendously into producing competent individuals to manage our skies. On this InfoHub in Depth, we give you a glimpse into the job that very few of us on the ground ever get to witness, but always reap the benefits.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.
We came to the Area Control Center at Timeri to speak with Orlissa Hieronymo, who recently completed the Aerodrome Control course.
Well, this experience for me was new, and for that reason very challenging, because I came from a background where I did law and I was beginning to pursue my law degree, and I made a major switch to aviation.
Orlissa delved into some of the difficulties that come with the job.
Okay, the most challenging aspect of this career is the fact that you're always learning. You never get perfect at it. You're always, every day that you come, it's a new challenge, it's a new situation, and you always have to be on the ball and think and come up with solutions quickly, because you have to make a decision that could change the entire, spectrum of what it is happening. And you have to make sure that whatever that decision you make, it's safe and it's going to have your job done effectively.
Thankfully, this program did not pose to be a financial burden, and it is something that makes Orlissa count her blessings.
Coming from where I had to pay millions to do law, and that finance simply wasn't there, this was a great opportunity for me. And also, it's not only free, but when you begin the course, as long as you pull through, you're being paid a stipend when you're pursuing the course. So I feel like the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority provided us with a really great opportunity that is very rare in Guyana. So I really appreciated that.
As the saying goes, all good things come to those who wait. For the young woman in aviation, it was her lived experience.
Really and truly, you really had to dedicate your life to the course. I remember sleepless nights. I came off of social media. I had to sacrifice going out. I literally gave up my social life at one point. But it's not forever. It's for a time. You have to invest your time and your efforts into the course, because remember, this is a safety critical career path and the job is safety critical. So you have to know that when you're going into it with your all. And basically, you just had to sacrifice for a little while.
Whilst her love for aviation runs through her veins, the 21-year-old assistant air traffic controller plans at some point to spread her wings and return to complete her studies in law. She hopes to become the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority's legal advisor.
Being a young woman in aviation, it is inspiring to others. And it's inspiring to myself. And it gives me confidence to know that you can do anything that you put your mind to. And there are no boundaries for us. whatever we set out to do, we can achieve it.
Clifford Van Domen, Chief Instructor responsible for the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority's Training School Air Navigation Services, walked us through the government-sponsored programs that are free of cost to the students.
So it starts with the entry level. The requirement to come into the system is 5 CXC, passes at 5 CXC, inclusive of English and Maths. Of course, geography and the science subjects is an asset. Once they pass that level, they're required to do an aptitude test. And if they're successful, they do a personal interview. And then the Civil Aviation Training School takes care of them after that. We train them at what we call the AIMO level, which is the entry level, and then they're trained in airdrome, approach, and then area control. Each level takes at least about 8 months, inclusive of on-the-job training. So for you to complete airdrome control as an initial controller, it will take you about 8-12 months before you're actually working on the job.
After these steps are completed, the students are trained in approach control. This training allows air traffic controllers to maintain the separation between aircraft approaching the airport to land. Both theoretical and practical components of this course take approximately 1 year.
Thereafter, you're trained in the area control level. That level can be either procedural, what we call procedural, or surveillance control. Those are the levels of training that we offer.
Chief Instructor Van Domen highlighted one of the tangible investments for the training school, a 3D simulator that was purchased in 2017 at a cost of $103 million.
We are standing here in what we call the ATC simulator. It's a 3D simulator, and it's used for training air traffic controllers. You would agree with me that it's pretty difficult for us to take the air traffic control officers and put them in the live environment for practice. And so at the completion of their theory, they're placed in this facility.
The remarkable piece of equipment has a wide array of features.
This facility allows us to simulate the real life environment. It gives us a chance to change the conditions, both at Temeri and Ogle, the weather conditions, the time of day, the air traffic control situations, so that we can have a chance to see how the trainee react, even in abnormal situations, meaning emergencies and so on.
The simulator is configured to that of the real working environment. As such, students are molded for work in the real environment as air traffic controllers. We were fortunate to get a first-hand view of the simulator in action.
Above the Area Control Center is the Temeri Control Tower that overlooks the Chedijagan International Airport. It was there that we spoke to one of the air traffic controllers.
It was a lot of commitment, a lot of studying, a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of discipline. You know, I haven't always been very, responsible and whatnot, but over the years, in order to be successful in this profession, it requires you to be very diligent. You have to apply yourself, study hard. Sometimes it can get to you, it becomes really stressful. The material, the course itself could be quite challenging, and the on-the-job training aspect is very demanding. And there's some days you go home and you feel stressed out, and but you have to keep your mind to it, keep your mind on the goal and the objective. And at the end of the day, once you're committed to it and you give it 100%, it works out.
Jewish War's next course will be on area control. This program allows air traffic controllers to have the skills and knowledge needed to manage Guyana's upper airspace, where long-range flights tend to pass. The Bishop's High School graduate explained that he did not initially set out to work in the field, but instead took advantage of an opportunity that became available to him.
I spent some time doing geology before coming into this field. There was a vacancy, started adding the papers, and I always wanted to be a pilot as a kid growing up. So I didn't know much of air traffic control at the time, but the vacancy made me do some research, and I realized that something I would actually want to do.
Yogi, as his friends call him, vowed that the profession is one he will never leave, and he intends to invest all his energies in becoming the best air traffic controller he can be. Whilst lauding the support system he enjoys at home, he said the job also comes with some perks that makes it a bit easier.
Authority itself also does their part by ensuring you get the shifts spaced out. You know, they provide transportation to and from work.
As he continues to do what he loves, Yogi has some words of advice for future generations of air traffic controllers.
Young people should really try to jump at this opportunity with the expanding sector, especially now that we're in the phase, because, you know, when it gets there, it's going to be nice here, but the transition phase is also really exciting to be part of the change. You know, so I advise the younger folks to get on board, use the opportunity. I think GCA is doing outreach, trying to reach out to the younger persons and whatnot. Our training school recently got accreditation. They're doing an excellent job. They're training controllers almost every couple of months. So it's looking pretty good. Like you said, the traffic is going to increase. So the demand is going to be more for air traffic controllers. We're going to need more staff. So it's a good opportunity, and it's not just in air traffic control, but it's the supporting staff like the AIS, the Aeronautical Information Service guy, and the air traffic controllers assistants. So there's a lot of opportunities for new persons to get involved.
Nevertheless, with a lot of upgrades taking place at CGIA, Yogi mostly anticipates the installation of the $200 million Instrument Landing System, or ILS. The project is expected to have a major impact on flight operations.
So I'm excited for that. I look forward to it. I did the PANZOPS training, which is the performance-based navigation. So I'm going to be one of those guys who can probably be spearheading also the new approaches and working along with creating these approaches. I look forward to it because with the ILS we are able to bring aircraft to a lower minimum, and a lot of times the aircraft will come to Timurid or unable to land because of weather, and because a lot of diversions and all of these things, delays. So along with more runway and with the ILS, we'll be able to accommodate not only more aircraft, but we'll be able to ensure that the aircraft are able to land safely and execute more approaches with least possible delays.
Director of Air Navigation Services at CJIA, Rickford Samaru, gave a detailed explanation of the operations in the ILS.
That's, for instance, if the weather condition is poor, the system guides the airplane down to the runway as low as 200 feet above the runway, at which point the pilot will make a visual descent to continue his landing.
Other expected outcomes and impacts of the new instrument landing system include reduction in operational costs and increased airport capacity and access. This project will allow the government to be in compliance with the International Civil Aviation Organization's Global Air Navigation Plan for runways and vertical guidance. The ILS definitely has the support of pilots both locally and internationally for its indisputable benefits. An experienced local pilot, Captain Larry Barkley, gave his take on this new addition to CGIA.
And we're also very happy with how it was implemented. The Civil Aviation Authority would have sat with us. There were 3 options. There were some cost considerations, and they sat with the industry and they implemented the option that was agreed to by the Civil Aviation Authority and the operators.
In keeping with the government's continuous efforts to connect the coast to the hinterland, $35 million has been invested by the Ministry of Public Infrastructure to install solar lights for selected hinterland airstrips. This was announced by Minister David Patterson at the recently concluded National Two Shows Council Conference.
These solar lights will be placed along the airstrips at night, and then the Two Show and the Village Council will keep it in their possession.
Two Shows at the conference commended the move that will enhance the aviation sector.
If we have some permanent light in place, it will certainly serve a very good purpose, because we do have cases of emergencies and in the village, and not only in the village, but let us say on the Essequibo coast. And if aircraft or helicopter is needed to come in and we have lights, it will be no problem. So I really, really feel excited about that news, and I look forward to the implementation.
Representing the Anai district, Anai Zacharias Norman wasted no time in stating his unreserved approval of the ministry's move.
Yeah, first of all, I must thank the government to upgrade the airstrip. It is in good condition right now, and now putting the system into place will be a great improvement to the airstrip as well, because Anai is a district which is North Rupununi sub-district, right, which population of about 8,000 people in the sub-district. So it will be a big improvement for the people of the North Rupununi.
By fitting the airstrips with solar lights, the coalition government will be able to uphold its obligations regarding the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 7. This seeks to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. In relation to rehabilitation of airstrips, the government signed a $137.3 million contract on September 29 of this year. This will cater to the execution of upgrades to the Lethem Aerodrome. Minister Patterson pledged government's commitment to the transformation of the aerodrome to a regional airport.
The government intervention on this aerodrome is to respond to primarily the tourism sector. And they've asked that if we improve the infrastructure countrywide, what we will have and what their commitment would be to be a cheaper flights for Guyanese, ordinary Guyanese, to be traversing here.
Since 2015, the administration has made a concerted effort to upgrade its airstrips. Lethem Aerodrome will be the 25th out of the 57 airstrips under its belt to receive major works. The contracted works will see 4,000 feet of runway upgraded, which forms phase 1 of the upgrades to meet the International Civil Aviation Organization's standards. Hinterland airstrips will receive major rehabilitative works next year. This will be conducted to the tune of $690 million. It includes work on airstrips in Kurukubaru, Orendo, Kaicho, Fairview, Karisparu, Paruma, and Achiwebe. All of these works will take place as Ghana positions itself as an oil and gas producing nation. Being on the brink of first oil, our airspace has already received a considerable increase in traffic, particularly helicopter traffic. As such, the Ogle Airport has decided to build and commission a new $70 million taxiway to accommodate these unique aircraft. Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Paul Shamra, commended the efforts of operators who have begun construction of similar helicopter aprons to facilitate services at the airport since the new taxiway was completed.
The initiative of Ogle Airport Inc. and the management, the decision of the board members to having this taxiway here today to aid in the many complaints that would be upon the board in relation to the length of time the operators would have to take to access the runway. This that you're looking at here today is local content at its best. This is the sector that I could say that anyone and everyone could see what local content is and what it can do.
At the commissioning ceremony, head of the Civil Aviation Authority for Guyana, Director General Colonel Egbert Field, praised the new addition.
This event represents not only the continued growth and development of the EFCIA aerodrome, but the continued growth and development in the local aviation industry and Guyana as a whole. The taxiway Foxtrot will be a part of the existing system of taxiways at this aerodrome, and will help to expedite in a safe manner the traffic which early in the morning normally accumulates for takeoff at 7, 8 o'clock.
At present, JetBlue has signaled its plans to initiate non-stop flights operating daily to Guyana aboard their new A321 Neo aircraft beginning April 2, 2020. These flights will allow the direct movement of passengers between New York and the CGIA. The Middle Eastern nation of Qatar has also indicated its interest in establishing relations with Guyana, especially within the aviation sector. On September 24, that dream was moved one step closer with the signing of an air services agreement between the two countries. Qatar Airways is one of the largest airlines in the world with over 1,772 international destinations and a fleet of approximately 250 aircraft aspires to be a link between the Caribbean and Latin America. It is hoped that Guyana will help to materialize that linkage. Within the coming months, a team from that country is expected in Guyana to explore more opportunities in the aviation sector.
Sunday, October 20, reminds us all that the aviation sector in Guyana is by no means minuscule and has the opportunity for astronomical growth in years to come. So when you meet one of our air traffic controllers that manage our skies, be sure to thank them for keeping us safe while the iron birds fly above. This has been InfoHub in Depth. Do join us again next time. Goodbye.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.